back to you for this half term. It's really good to be back. It's June the 4th today as we film, but where you are, if you're watching on Sunday, it will be June the 7th. So welcome back. Hope you guys have had a really good half term. It's been awesome weather, so I've gone out and done some bike rides. I went to Brighton and back, went to Chanctonbury and then back down in towards Sisbury Ring. Oh my gosh, if you ever do that, it's so much fun. Really recommend it. SJ went gardening. Oh no, SJ has been gardening. And she also went swimming in the sea. So we've had an awesome half term. We've had a really good break, and we're ready to go for this last half term before, sort of the end of the academic year, even though it's almost online. All of it's online at the moment. We do have a challenge this week, and challenges are going to look a little bit different, or at least this week they are. And this week we are offering a prize. So the challenge this week is to create a music video, whether that's by yourself or in your families. If you are, in a family, we'd really encourage you to get involved and do that. But if it's just by yourself, that's totally cool. What we'd love for you to do is to create a music video. Now, it can be, 1 minute, 2 minutes, probably no longer than 2 minutes. But what we'd love for you to do, is just create a music video. But here's the catch. The winner will receive a film of their choice. So we will purchase a film that you want to watch, and we'll win snacks and treats. So you can have a family film night together. So that is the prize on offer, but you at least have to enter to be in with a shot. And then me and SJ will choose the best music video, or the one we might think is most funniest or whatever. But the best music video will win you a family film night. So send them in to our email address. Make sure you got parental permission. But that is the challenge this week. It's not very sunny today, which is kind of annoying because I wanted to sort of do this intro outside, but I still can. I still can. But yeah, we're really looking forward to this last half term together, and we're going to be diving into more of the equip stuff that we've been doing and different bits and bobs as well. So without further ado, I'm going to hand you over to SJ. See you later.
Boom. Hello, everybody. Right, I'm going to just open us up in prayer. Holy Spirit, would you come and encounter us right now? Would you just become so real in the room around us? Would you settle our hearts? And would you allow us to focus in on you and what you are doing? We love you. Would you come and teach us and excite our hearts and fill us with hope and fill us with joy? We just welcome you and humble ourselves before you to teach us, to learn from you. Amen. I'm going to start with a question. What does humility look like? So I'm going to firstly start with the little story of what humility doesn't look like. So I'm always saying to my brother, I'm stronger than you, I'm faster than you, you can't beat me. Because we're always play fighting or wrestling or pretending to be Jedi Knights wandering through a forest. Like the other day, we went for a walk and we just grabbed sticks and we're like sword fighting and pretending to be awesome. And I'm always like, I'm going to beat you. But the truth is, my brother is stronger, he's faster, he's bigger, and like just so much better at me, so much better than me. So he always beats me in these like little duels. And I've got to learn to take that a bit better. But I'm always like, oh, you're not going to get me this time. And every time he does get me. But just this one time, I managed to get him down. So I'm going to play that video for you now.
I'll divide.
You have one chance to kneel before me.
You missed it. And now I was on camera.
Unbelievable. Give up.
Never.
Nice. Yeah, and then he did proceed to beat me a couple more times. And also, it's all just really fun play fighting. We always have fun. And it shows you that you can love play fighting from a kid, and you can love it when you're older as well. It's so much fun. As soon as you get a stick, it's like game on. But so that's what humility isn't, is being like, oh, I'm always better, when actually in truth, I'm just like, I'm not. But today I'm going to now talk about what like humility is. So firstly, we're going to look through the story of Jesus and his humility, then a parable which Jesus told about humility, the parable of the Samaritan, which is about neighbours, but I think it can also show humility, and then what we as a youth group can do to like seek what humility actually looks like. So 4 things I want you to be thinking about as I talk about these stories are, I think humility looks a lot like knowing who we are so that we don't need to push other people down, being obedient to God because that shows us that our hearts are humble, being able to learn, being vulnerable so that we can receive information from other people, and number 4, being able to zone out of our own worlds and zoom in on other people's worlds and see their needs and see where they need help. So think of those 4 things. We're going to start with the story of Jesus, and it comes from it comes from Philippians 2 verse 6, and it reads as this: "Have the attitude of Christ. Although he was God, he did not think himself equal with God as something to cling to. Instead, he gave up his divine privileges and took the humble position as a slave and was born as a human being. When he appeared in human form, he humbled himself again in obedience to God." I'm just going to read that again. Think about it. So have the attitude of Christ. Although he was God, he did not think himself equal with God as something to cling to. Instead, he gave up his divine privileges and took the humble position as a slave and was born as a human being. When he appeared in human form, he humbled himself again in obedience to God. Okay, so have that story in your brain. And I'm quickly going to retell the story of the Samaritan. So some of you might know it. So this man is heading to Jericho. And he's kind of zook, walking down the road. And then suddenly, these robbers like pop out from the rocks and are like, they beat him up, they take his clothes, they strip his belongings, and they leave him half dead on the side of the road. It's like, not fun. And so this man is kind of just lying there like, ugh. And then along comes a Pharisee, and he's meant to know God and know the law, and he's meant to be the good man. But what he does is he's so sucked up in his own world and trying to be clean and be righteous that he kind of blocks his eyes from this man on the side of the road and steps across to the other side of the road and carries him walking. And the same with the Levite that walks on after him. He sees the man on the side of the road, but kind of goes, oop, and steps to the other side of the road and walks past the man. But then along comes the Samaritan man. And he's not zoomed in on himself, but he zooms out and he sees this man's need. He has mercy on this man. And he goes to the man and he takes him and he bandages his wounds. He covers them with wine and olive oil. And he then takes this man on his donkey and takes him to an inn. And he tells the innkeeper, look after this man, look after all his needs, and I will pay whatever is left. And he kind of leaves money there, and he needs to obviously do whatever he was doing in Jericho. And so that's the story of the Samaritan. So let's think of our 4 points. So the first one is knowing who you are. So if you think about the first story, Jesus, he was one with God. He knew who he was. Like, he knew he was significant. He knew he was important. But he didn't cling to that. He didn't like shove it in everybody's faces. You know, he knew it. He said it with pride, but he carried it. And the Samaritan, he doesn't seem to be worrying about his own cleanliness and sticking to his own beliefs. He kind of, like the Pharisee and the Levite, kind of just like, oh, I need to be righteous. I can't do this. I need to stick to my, be my own importance. He doesn't do that. He knows who he is. Then point number 2, obedient to God. Jesus has to learn to be obedient to God. He has to really humble himself and follow whatever God tells him to do. He came to earth as a baby. So God obviously told him the things he needed to do. He even obeyed God in dying on the cross. Like, that's a painful death. And then the Samaritan is obedient in being kind. Whereas the priest and the Levite weren't obedient and weren't kind, the Samaritan man is. So being obedient. Number three is you need to be able to learn. You've got to be vulnerable enough to ask for help and then to learn. So Jesus, we've got to remember, he gave up all his divine privileges and he started as a baby. That's vulnerable. And he had to learn to walk. He had to learn the Torah. He had to learn what God was saying. You know, what was it like when Jesus was like, oh my gosh, the Son of God, that's me. I've got to die on the cross. Like, he had to learn that, you know, and then he had to obey that. And then, you know, just like, we've got to be able to ask for help and be willing to learn. Even the Samaritan, he wasn't learning, but he was vulnerable and he asked for help. He got the innkeeper to come and help him. And he went to the innkeeper and said, you know what, I can't look after this man by myself. Can you look after him as well? And then the final thing that both of these guys did was they were able to not zoom in, like not be focused on themselves, but to zoom in on other people's worlds and other people's needs. You know, so Jesus, he kind of gave up all his rights and he zoomed in on human beings and our need for love and our need to be righteous, because that's why he died on the cross. And then the Samaritan man, you know, he could have carried on his way like the Pharisee and the Levite, who were like in their own bubble and like focused, but he didn't. He zoomed in on this man's need. He saw that need and he went and he helped him and he met him in his need and he looked after him. And that all these things show humility. And I want us as a youth group, let's practice humility. Let's practice humility in our families. You know, can we firstly know our significance, spend time with God, knowing who we are, and being thankfulness is really good in being humble and knowing who you are, because you're like, I'm this child of God and Jesus made me the child of God. Then being obedient, you know, spending time learning what God's telling us and being obedient to that. And also being obedient to your parents, like honoring them, because that's humility. Because if you were prideful, you're like, well, whatever they say is rubbish. But actually, if you know that what they say is good, you can be humble and you can obey them. And then also being able to learn. So let's learn in our families. You know, if your siblings say something, don't just be like, oh, that's wrong, just for the sake of it. Be like, oh, that's interesting. Let's look into that. Or, you know, whatever your parents say as well, do the same thing. And whatever Jesus says, be so willing to learn. And then number 4, let's zoom in on other people's needs and help them. You know, let's put on our goggles and be like, okay, who in my family today needs love and needs support? You know, is there a friend that's come to mind that you need to love on and support and give attention to? Let's try be the youth group let's be this young people of God that just know who we are and are deeply humble in that and are deeply excited at being like, yes, you know, I can love you so well without worrying about my own significance, because we know who we are and we know we're important and we can be humble in that. So I invite us as a youth group, let's be humble. Let's work on humility. Let's ask God to show us to be humble. And I'll try work on being humble and accepting that my brother is better than me than sort of fighting. Over to Jack.
Great, thanks so much, SJ. And this week we asked Harry what he's been doing to help serve others.
I've been trying to bless my mum a little more than I have been in the past these days, because obviously everyone's at home. She's got usually about 6 people to cook for and clean the house and stuff, so I've been trying to help her around the house. I've been doing some of the cooking, I've been cleaning stuff, and yeah, it feels good to be able to you know, help her out when she needs it, because I know that she'll help me out when I need it. So it's nice to have that. It helps that I enjoy cooking, but it's good to you know, have her back on that. So.
Awesome stuff. And this week, as a response, me and SJ would love for you guys together in your families, or if you're by yourself, that's totally fine as well. We encourage you all to get involved. There are 3 different things we'd love for you guys to do. And the first thing is just go round, or if you're by yourself again, just express to God 5 things that you are thankful for in detail over, you know, the past few months, or even just in the current situation, what you are thankful for. and just go round and express those to one another and to God, and just say thank you, God. Thank you for what is going on right now. Focus on what He is doing. And second thing is we'd love for you to talk in your families, and if there is anyone in your family that needs help in any situation, or maybe needs encouragement, we just love for you guys to just be vulnerable and share that with your family. And if you're by yourself, think, if you're feeling quite low, or maybe you're feeling like you just need help in some area, I don't know, it could even be homework, then reach out. Reach out to your friends, reach out to the community, reach out to me or SJ, and just be vulnerable and share that with one another. And then the third thing we'd love for you guys to do this week is ask God anywhere you need to be more humble, or anywhere you need to obey Him more. So simply just ask His Spirit to reveal that to you. And we'd love, again, for you guys to do that in families, just so you can be humble and be vulnerable with one another. So we'd love for you guys to do that this week. We are going to have some worship to close this video. I'm going to be leading some this week, and then next week hopefully we'll get a young person back doing it, even though I class myself as quite young. But yeah, I'll see you guys next week, and so will SJ. Looking forward to it. Have a great week, and we'll catch you later. See you later. You are here, moving in our midst. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, working in this place. I worship you. I worship you. Yeah, I do. You are here, moving in our midst. I worship you. I worship you. Yeah, I do. You are here, working in this place. I worship you. I worship you. 'Cause you are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are here, you are here, touching every heart. I worship you. I worship is who you are. Oh, and that is who you are. Oh, and that is who you are. Yes, you are. That is who you are. 'Cause even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop. Oh, one more time. 'Cause even when I don't see it, you're working. And even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. Oh, 'cause you are the way. Waymaker, the miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Oh, yeah. Waymaker, the miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Waymaker, the miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are the way, the truth. Waymaker, the miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are.